thanks to the support as a channel member, Ian White. Well, I think I'm just about recovered from the disappointment of Wembley, and I'm ready to reflect on the fact we've actually had a very good first season in League Two. We've got money in the bank. We've got a squad full of good up-and-coming young players who are only going to get better. I've got a national reputation, so could get a good job offer from anywhere at any point. And now we just need to add the finishing touches to this squad to allow us to go up automatically next year, which, remember, we were this close to doing this time around. I think we can go up as champions next season if we get this transfer window right. And we are starting it off at the start of June, where we've had the email telling me which players are out of contract. And yeah, I think I agree with the assessment of my assistant manager for a lot of these players. It does mean that some long-serving players are going to have to leave, but that's how you do progress. So yeah, we're probably going to be letting Casagrande go. Obviously, he had his moment in the playoff semi-final. Didn't deliver a similar moment in the playoff final. He's 24 years old now. Only got 3 stars of potential left, 2.5 stars of current ability. He's been here for 4 years, been our starting keeper for 3.5 of them. But all good things come to an end, and I think we have to accept that if we're going to become a League One club, it's not going to be with Casagrande in goal. Similar story with Captain Kirk. Obviously was a very important player for us in non-league in our 2 promotion seasons, became our captain in the National League promotion season, didn't play at all in League Two, basically stealing a living for the last year off the back of his name and status as former captain. So he moves on as well. And then there's a few fringies, the likes of Lucky, who just, for a lot of money, never really got anywhere near the team. Some of these more fringe players, Ward, Brad James, who just came in and damaged his spine immediately, Warren Taylor, Bruno Sena. We persisted with him for a long time because he's tall, but similar to Casagrande, we've outgrown him. He never really hit the heights of that National League North season again. He really looked like he had some promise that season, kind of lost his place the following season, hasn't scored a goal this season. So Bruno Sena is not a Football League player, and it's very sad. But letting all of those guys go is going to free us up some money to hopefully improve the contracts of the likes of Connor, who wants more money, and then bring in some more Johnny Day style youngsters who can hopefully take us to the next level. And then I'm going to try this summer to use loans properly, because we didn't really utilise loans properly last year, and I think it ultimately cost us. So we are going to try and bring some loans in this year too. Well, that has been a frustrating month or so, because unlike previous versions of FM, apparently on FM 26, when you set a player for release, it doesn't give you the money back into the wage budget straight away. So we've had to go the whole month of June maxed out on wage budget, knowing we had a load of players leaving, but not able to bring anyone in to replace them because we couldn't offer any salaries. So we've now made it to the 1st of July, which means we should be able to say goodbye to some of our familiar faces. There you go. Bedford release 11 players, including Alex Kirk, Casagrande, Lucky, Sena, Taylor. So it feels like a bit of a changing of the guard moment. A lot of the non-league boys moving on as we look to rebuild into a team that's capable of getting promotion to League One. It does mean we do have a little bit of spare wage budget now, although to be fair, that amount of wage budget with the amount of transfers we now need to do doesn't feel like a lot. We're going to need to bring in a first choice keeper and probably a backup keeper. We're probably okay at left back with Patterson and Seraphim. We've offered Connor his new contract, and Shield and Cannaville should be fine as backups for him. At centre-back, Lewis Brown obviously is our captain. Kean Noble's just signed a new 3-year contract, so they're fine as our starters. And I think Stockhill Huffer, although we didn't use him at all really last year, he was pretty useful a few years before and is still young and getting better. So I think he's fine as a backup. And then at a push, you could play Burke or Seraphim or Cannaville, Connor. There's lots of players who can play there. Oh God, Matthew Strachan's still here and under contract apparently. We need to move on the likes of him. And then in midfield, we've got Cook. Finn Towler continues to get better. He's been out on a variety of loans. I think it might be Finn Towler's time to actually come into the first team squad. As you can see, he's right up there as one of our better midfield players now. So we're going to be turning down that loan offer from Boreham Wood. And then up front, we know we've got Day, Moncur and Thomas, who are decent. We know we've got Archer and Reece Dottin out wide who are decent. Gio Smith is back from his loan and still absolutely rammed full of potential. Didn't score a single goal for Aldershot, which is not ideal. But we've got some good players. But yeah, I think we've got a lot of work to do. And obviously some expiring contracts at the end of this coming season to deal with as well, including, this is a big one, can we tie Johnny Day down to a longer contract, because otherwise we're going to be forced to sell him. I mean, that's a lot of money. He's on $3,000 a week at the moment. Wants it to go up to 4, which is not unreasonable. Wants a release clause, wants a match highest earner clause. We can't do any of that. He knows how good he is. That's the problem. I mean, we'll try. Goodness me. Goodness me, Johnny. It's getting to the point of, can we actually afford him? $4,000 a week is a huge amount of our budget. And I don't think we do that for anybody else. But we've got a few decisions like that to make. And then we start bringing in the trialists, because it is the 1st of July. Well, this is a frustrating situation to be in. It very rarely happens, but we've brought in all the best trialists our scouts have found. And then as a quick indicator to see if any of them are any good, we've asked them to pick our best 11, and not one of the trialists is good enough to get into our best 11, which is an indication that our scouting needs to catch up with the new size of the club and the quality of player that we've got. I mean, there are plenty of players here, and if we look at the squad planner, there are a few of them who I think would probably be useful. But yeah, it looks like we're, at the moment, just filling in squad depth rather than actually making improvements to areas that need improving. So I think earlier than usual, I'm going to get started with the transfer room in. And priority number 1 is we need a goalkeeper. I'm not even that bothered what type of goalkeeper he is. He just needs to be a goalkeeper. And we want a first choice goalkeeper. So go find me a first choice goalkeeper, please. And I'll have a ponder what else we need. There's also quite a few fringe players who've been on the transfer list for a while that we're offering out, like Strachan, like Compton, like Burke. So there might be a few more players leaving, a few more squad spots, a bit more money here, and maybe even some money coming in up there. So all hope is not lost, but it's not been the ideal start to the summer with the double whammy combo of having to start late because of annoying budget stuff. And now we've got a month, and I feel like we're well behind and have a lot to do. And the stuff that's coming up on my scout reports isn't all that. It'll be fine. Well, 10 days in, and everyone we tried to sign, there was like 3 or 4 we tried to sign from those trialists. They all went elsewhere. We have done a little bit of transfer activity, in so much as we're generating a little bit of money. Rio Cannaville's gone out on loan to Scarborough. They've also given us £33,000 for Charlie Compton, which seems like a pretty decent deal for us. He didn't really play last season. So to be able to get actual cash money for him for a player who started 3 times seems to make sense. Interesting as well to note, and I've not noticed this on FM26 yet, probably because I've not really managed a lot in teams where we actually make money, but it mentions now how much profit we've made on a player, which is quite handy, both in terms for these videos and of course in terms for FFP later on. But that was 33 grand of pure profit because we signed him for nothing. It does mean the midfield depth continues to get a little bit thinner, although Finn Towler effectively takes his spot in the squad, but we've accepted quite a big offer from Bromley for Harrison Burke. So once he's gone as well, so assuming he's going, we're definitely going to need another midfield player. And yeah, we haven't yet found a goalkeeper. We've got a few of these transfer room things going, but I don't know. We're not really in a position to spend money. Okay, there's a few trialists here we can bring in. Why didn't I get these as inbox messages? We're bringing in some trialists from here to see what happens. Right, trialists from there seem much higher caliber. As you can see, sorting by best 11, we've actually got some useful players that have come through now. So Josh Gracie, he's 6'6", and you can't teach that. Only 22 years old, formerly of Wolves. I mean, I have no idea if he's the kind of player who'd even agree to sign for us. Back up my eye, young man. You're going to be our first choice goalkeeper. Are you aware you're 6'6"? You silly boy. Yeah, fingers crossed we get this guy. I think loyalty bonuses work the same as signing on fees, so we don't want to mess around with any of that kind of stuff. Let me know if I'm wrong about that. I don't mind him having a relegation release clause. And I don't mind giving him that money either, because hopefully it will scare other clubs off. But if we can get him in, I think that's a huge statement of intent. A 6'6" goalkeeper. Lovely stuff. We have our new big boy goalkeeper, Josh Gracie, all 6'6" of him. 3 stars of current ability, 4.5 stars of potential. That's my kind of guy. He's never played a game of football before, so hopefully he's not rubbish. But yeah, he's in. And there's a few more we're trying to get in as well. We've also got rid of Harrison Burke. We got £61,000 for him. So we've made £100,000 or £96,000 of transfer profit this summer. Sales on players we didn't spend any money on, which means the bank balance continues to look healthier than it ever has. I'm in two minds about whether I should ask for training facilities. And before I do, I want to properly max out what it's going to let me spend on wage budget first. I know there is an FFP limit, which it probably tells me on here somewhere. Oh, we're well below the FFP limit. Yeah, so we can keep pushing this. I'd rather have players than facilities. So we have to keep our player expenditure below 55k a week. We're currently spending 20. So we could do another £30,000 a week on player wages and not get anywhere close, which is weird because last year I'm sure I got a message saying I was 7.5k away from hitting it. I guess we've maybe got some younger players now who don't count towards the cap. I'm not sure how it works, but that is a proper signing. I'm happy with that. More of that kind of thing, please. Well, this is an interesting one because we've had an offer from Rotherham for Stockhill Huffer, a player we haven't really used, but we're probably planning on using this coming season. He's getting better and has a big upside. So I think this is one of those that we need to really try and capitalise on and squeeze as much money out of them as possible. I don't want to get ridiculous, but at the same time, let's get a little bit ridiculous. They obviously want him. Not that much, though. Might have made a mistake there. Right, we've now brought a couple of midfield players in. Joe Upton. They're expensive, by the way. Joe Upton is a central midfielder. 3 stars of current ability, 4.5 stars of potential. He was previously of Middlesbrough. And then what I'm hoping is going to be our star man, our new star man, Suleiman Mandi, is a defensive midfielder who can also play centre-back or centre-mid. 3.5 stars of current ability, 4 stars of potential. We're paying him almost Johnny Day money, but he's played a lot of games for Radcliffe over the last few years. 12 assists as well from defensive midfield suggests he can probably hit a nice corner. But he is also in. There are still definitely areas we need to improve. We're trying to bring a couple of defenders in. Some of them quite large, like this guy. He's 6'5" as a backup right back / centre back. These two, we probably don't need both, but we do, I think, need a 4th centre back, unless we sell Stockhill Huffer, which I kind of wish I'd accepted that offer now. Although he has got loads of potential, so he might end up really good. And we've also got another striker that we've offered some money to, Valentin Joseph, as a proper like Cena replacement, big target man type. It's a role Thomas has been doing, but it's not actually Thomas's best role. Thomas is a winger who we've been playing up front for a while, but he could join the rotate with that guy, play out wide sometimes. We're trying to get some interest in Nelson because he's got decent value. If we can get over 100,000 for him, we could potentially then reinvest and bring in a new right wing as well. We still haven't explored loans yet. We're only 2 weeks in, but we are also only 2 weeks away from the start of the season. The media think we're rubbish. They're convinced we're in a relegation battle. we need to continue improving to prove them wrong. Right, we managed to get a couple of those transfers in. Valentin Joseph is in. He's a 22-year-old striker, 3.5 stars of current ability, 4 stars of potential, formerly of Blackburn. And then we also signed Callum Tripp, who's a 6'5" centre-back who can also cover us at right back, 3 stars of current ability, 4 stars of potential. He's previously done the rounds. A lot of McDongs stink on him, but we'll just give him a good long bath, and I think he'll probably be fine. And that he can come in as a squad rotation option for us at the back. The Italian defender we wanted, his work permit fell through, so we weren't able to get him. But if we have a look at what all of this means to our squad depth, we have Gracie as a starter, Graham as a backup. We're trying to bring in another backup goalkeeper on loan. We've hopefully got somebody lined up for that. At left back, we've got Patterson and Seraphin, and various other players who can cover there if need be. We might finally be loaning Matthew Strachan out as well, which is handy. At right back, we've accepted an offer for Ollie Shield. So assuming he's gone, we've got Connor as our starter, and then Tripp and Stockhill-Huffer as rotation options. We could probably do with another out-and-out right back because they're both centre-backs, really, but we probably have one too many centre-backs, so it doesn't hurt for one of them to cover out at right back. Because then at centre-back, we've got Noble and Brown still as our starters, Tripp and Stockhill-Huffer as the backup options for them, and then various other players who can cover there if need be. In central midfield, we've got Mandy, Cook, Upton. We've still got Farkas, Finn Towler's in the mix as well. He's going to be sticking around as part of the squad this season. He's now 20 years old. He's played some games in non-league over the last few years, nearly 100 appearances to his name now. So we're going to give him a try. He's still got loads of potential. Let's see if he can establish himself. We'll at least give him till Christmas to try and establish himself. And then up front, obviously we've got Day. We've still got Moncur and Thomas. Joseph becomes the 4th striker. And then on the left-hand side, we've got Archer, and then various others who can cover there. On the right-hand side, it's Reece Dottin. And then Nelson, I've taken off the transfer list because no one was interested. So he's first reserve on both sides. Thomas can cover on either side. And also, who's the extra player on this side? Archer. Is it Archer? It is Archer, isn't it? We could probably do with one more wide man. Money-wise, I mean, we still haven't really explored loans. I said I wanted to do loans properly this time. I am really struggling because they all want money. If we're going to spend money, we may as well own the player, because then we've got the option of doing what we've done with some of these free transfers from last summer and selling them on at a profit. So I'd rather do that. That being said, for a third choice goalkeeper, that's the defender we tried to sign. I'm very upset that his work permit fell through. We couldn't give him an ESC. But Hugo Aman off of Ipswich, we're trying to bring him on a season-long loan as a backup keeper for free, and fingers crossed he comes in as the 3rd keeper. I think we're almost there. I think this squad is pretty good. The media, less convinced than I am, and as it stands at the moment, our best 11 is, according to Quick Pick, pretty much what I would expect it to be. Yeah, I think the front 4 didn't really need anything doing to it, but we've now got a better backup in Joseph. The midfield, Farkas was very good last year. Mandy's in. Upton's on quite a lot of money. Is on quite a lot of money as well. And we've got some decent strength and depth in there as well with Cook and Towler. And then, yeah, the back 4, I think, is pretty solid. I don't think that needed major change. We have a new big goalkeeper. I mean, the squad was almost good enough for automatic promotion last year. I think this is an improved squad. And we're still not done yet. So let's try and bring in a couple more before we have to play Wimbledon in a week's time. Well, it's first day of the season. We've sent Matthew Strachan out to... we've not sent him, we sold him. I thought we'd loaned him. Chelmsford have signed him permanently. Thought it was a loan. That's even better. I think we're just going to go all the way through to the end of the window, though. We've got a few games to play in January, but I think I'm just going to do them off camera, in between, keeping you up to date with what's going on with the transfers, second season in the league and all that. We always go at a slightly faster pace in terms of matches in the second season. So let's get through to the end of August, finish this squad, because there's still transfers that I want to do. And then tomorrow we can get stuck into carrying on with the season from wherever we get to after these first 4 or 5 matches. That's the plan. For the record, though, this is the team for the first day of the season. It does look pretty familiar in places, just a little bit upgraded here and there. We've got Gracie in goal, a back four of Patterson, Brown, Noble and Connor. So last season's back four. Farkas with new boy Mandy in midfield, who took the other ESC spot that meant we couldn't sign that Italian defender. So we need to make sure he's any good. And then a familiar looking front four of Archer, restarting Day. And we're giving Moncur a proper go because he's supposedly getting better and better. He's still young. Current ability wise, he is the second best striker we've got at the club. So Ollie Thomas can start the season from the bench. He's not fully fit anyway. He took a little bit of a knock towards the end of pre-season. So he's not quite fully fit. So it just makes sense to give Moncur another try. Even though I think we established at the end of last season, he's Day's backup. Joseph is probably going to be Thomas's backup. It's less Thomas is tired and more, I really want to see if Moncur is as good as my coaches seem to think he is. Regardless, it looks like Thomas is maybe fourth choice striker. Certainly in terms of star rating. Obviously, he did get 25 goals last year, so we'll see on that front. We drew 1-1 with Wimbledon on the first day of the season, and I think Moncur doesn't work in that role. I think we've established that. So that experiment is over after one match, but we have done a couple more transfers. We've brought two goalkeepers in on loan. Hugo Aman is an Argentinian who's on loan from Ipswich until the end of the season. He's actually in as a backup goalkeeper, so we're not going to have any pressure to play him, but he's fine as a third choice. And then my reserve choice is going to be Will Wilson. His parents are cruel people. He's 21. He's on loan from Bristol Rovers. They insisted that he comes in as first choice keeper. We're not going to use him as first choice, but they're not going to recall him till Christmas. So he's fine until then. It allows us to send Graham out on loan, and then we can just recall him at Christmas once he's not grumpy anymore. That's the plan there. There are a couple of our other players who have headed out the door as well. Ollie Shield has joined Curzon permanently, and young Dion James, remember him? He is still young. He's 20 now, but he is still young. He's gone out on loan to Yeovil to continue his tour of non-league teams. I don't think he's ever going to be good enough to play for us, but we'll keep loaning him out in the meantime. We've still got money to spend, if anything, more money than we had before because we've moved a few players off the wage budget. There's still stuff we'd like to do. I still think we need to strengthen the wide areas. We need one more winger. I'm not even that bothered which side he plays. We're looking at this guy. We're also looking at a guy to potentially bring in on loan as well. We'd also like another right back. We're looking to loan a right back in. This guy, very disappointed to miss out on. He's 18 years old with that beard, by the way, which is impressive. But he was released by Arsenal. We got him in on trial and thought we were going to bring him in, but he in the end decided to go to Leicester. He's a natural left wing back, so we wouldn't have played him in his natural position anyway, but he would have been fine as that left wing option. But alas, 'twasn't to be. All of which means this is the team for the second game of the season, so Thomas does come back in up front. Now he's fit again. Hold on. And Gracie obviously is going to play at the back. Need to be very careful that we don't have any shenanigans like that going on, because we've promised that guy he's our first choice keeper. Gracie is very much our first choice keeper. What a difference having Ollie Thomas back up front makes. A 4-1 win over Carlisle. Jolly nice stuff. We've got to play in the Carabao Cup on Monday night, which doesn't give us a huge amount of rest time, but we have done a little bit more business between then. After saying I wouldn't loan him out, I have loaned Finn Towler out. He just wasn't going to get enough game time for us. I think at 20 years old, it's more important that he goes and plays regular football. So he's going to go and get another season under his belt in non-league, playing for Solihull Moors. Hopefully we'll come back ready to start for us next year. It's no good him being a fringe player. We've also loaned out Alistair Graham. He's gone to Distillery, who play in Northern Ireland. So he's going to go and give us at least half a season there. And we've signed a backup right back, Dejan Martin Grant. He's 21 years old, 2.5 stars of current ability, 4 stars of potential, nothing special. But he's fine as a backup option for us, other than the fact he has played 21 games in his career for Northampton, which is obviously a long way from ideal. But with us playing in the cup game so soon after playing at the weekend, I've got no objection to playing Wilson in goal for this one. We'll probably use him as our cup goalkeeper. In fact, let's make sure we've got Gracie on the bench, though, which is what I tried to sign him as in the first place. We're also bringing in Martin Grant for a debut so that we can have a look at him. Otherwise, everyone else just continues to get used to playing with each other. Another big win, 4-1 over Colchester in the Carabao Cup, and another new signing. We've brought in Carrick Murphy on loan from Wrexham for the season. He's a left winger, 4 stars of current ability, 4.5 stars of potential. The guy we were trying to sign permanently went elsewhere, but he looks rather splendid. So he's in, and that means the team for the next game involves him. Gracie comes back in goal, and we're going to keep Martin Grant in because he is quick. He is quick on that overlap. As you can see, charge. He's a very different kind of defender to Connor. I quite like a quick overlapping wing back. This might be a problem for Connor's development. It's already becoming a theme for the season. Another big win. And then another new signing. This time it's a winger for the other side. If we can find him, Declan Doyle, in on loan from Stoke. He's a right winger, can also play up front. 3 stars of current ability, 5 stars of potential. And this squad is starting to look really quite good now. We've got some good strength in depth in all the key areas. I think we're ready to take on the league. We've still even got a little bit of spare money left. There's a week of the window remaining. I'm not sure if we're going to spend that last bit of money. And I'm not sure that we need to because, I mean, the media still think we're going to be finishing the bottom half. This early season form does seem to suggest otherwise. We're bringing Doyle straight into the team as well because we want to have a look at him. Murphy and Martin Grant both keep their places also. And just keep winning, chaps. Just keep winning. We did not keep winning. If we go and look at our fixtures, which are up here somewhere, we lost to Chesterfield. We then lost to penalties, lost on penalties to Championship Crystal Palace in the Carabao Cup second round. And we also lost to Shrewsbury. So we find ourselves 5 games in, mid-table. It's not where we want to be. We need to turn that around and start moving up the table. We did manage to sign one more player on deadline day. That one more player being Rory Whittaker, another right back. He's 23 years old. He's in on loan for the season from Southampton. We do have the option to buy him for £97,000. If we like him, we're never going to have £97,000 to spend on a player. So it just seemed like an unnecessary thing to add in, but add it in we did. And look how quickly we're hemorrhaging money as well. Having not really spent any of it, we've gone from having 1.2 million to 700,000 over the course of this video, losing £500,000 without paying a transfer fee, a signing on fee. We've brought in £100,000 worth of transfer fees as well. This club is not financially sustainable. We are going to need a cup run again, and we really do need to get promoted this season. So I guess we'll see, but I'm very happy with how the squad has ended up. Gracie is looking like a very good goalkeeper, and we've got some very adequate backups for him. I think Patterson and Serafin are fine at left back. We've now got Whittaker, Connor, and Martin Grant at right back. We probably don't need Martin Grant anymore, but we've got 3 good options at right back. At centre back, we've got Noble and Brown as good starters, Tripp and Stockhill Huffer as good backups in midfield. Mandy is great. We really missed him. He's one of the reasons why we lost a couple of matches in there because he was unavailable. Upton less convinced about, but we already know about Cook and Farkas from last year, so I think it's a good 4 we've got in there. On the left, we've definitely, in fact, both wings, we've definitely improved. Carrick Murphy is the best left winger we've got at the club, but we all know how good Ethan Archer can be. And then we've got Reece Dottin and Doyle going to battle it out on the right-hand side. We probably could have sold Nelson after all. He's like a 5th choice winger, but can play on both sides now. So I guess that's not the end of the world. And then up front, it's Day and Thomas. They've both proven to be fantastic still. They've started the season really well. Ollie Thomas has 5 from 5, and Johnny Day has 4 from 5. So Thomas actually outscoring Day at the moment. We're also getting some decent performances out of Moncur. He's scored already, which took him a long time to do last year. We've not really had a chance to have a look at Valentin Joseph yet. I'm glad we're not paying him loads of money, but I think he's probably an improved fourth choice striker compared to the likes of Bruno Sina. So I think we've definitely improved throughout the squad. They just need to get used to playing together, and they need to convince the rest of the world they're improved. Theoretically, everyone's happy. Team cohesion is pretty good. And we did have some good results early on. We've just stuttered a little bit in the last few matches. We've now got to play Chelsea under 21s, which I'll do off camera. And then tomorrow's episode, we'll have a game against Wickham and then another game from a little bit further on in the season as we try and move ourselves up into those automatic promotion spots. But if you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.